Hey, John Morrison here, and I wanted to put a video together talking to you about a very important skill when it comes to your network marketing business, and that's following up with your prospect, okay, your potential business partner. This is an important skill. We've all heard the old saying, that fortune's in the follow-up, and that's true. You need to follow up with your prospect. But here's what I recommend. Before I get into the topic here, I always recommend that you always have the next appointment or exposure booked before the previous one is completed. That's worth $1 million right there. If you learn that skill alone, you won't have to worry about being uncomfortable when you call, wondering if you're bothering them and projecting that posture of insecurity. If you're at the presentation, you've shared the business, they can't make a decision, and they say they need to go home and think about it, pray about it, what have you, that right there is when you need to say, well, great, when do you want me to follow back up with you? Is tomorrow or Friday best? And let me get my calendar out, and let's get your calendar out, and let's make this happen just so we can follow back up and get an answer. You know, yes or no is a great answer with me. I've got other people to help, but I want to give you my undivided attention and lock arm in arm with you if you're interested. But if not, you know, I do have other people to help, and I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste mine. See, that's posture. That's professional. You know, what does your doctor do when you go to a doctor's appointment? Before you leave, they're booking the next appointment, okay, your next checkup. So treat your business the same exact way. All right, so now you've got the appointment booked, and now the next key nugget, the golden nugget here worth a lot of money, is make sure you're the one asking the questions. Always be sure you're asking the questions. The person that's asking the questions is in charge of the conversation. Make sure that that is always you. So when I follow up my call and they answer the phone and say, hey, this is John, I'm following up. I've got you down here on my calendar to call you right now and follow back up with you. See if you have any questions, see if you're ready to get started. So, you know, were you able to talk to your spouse, or were you able to have time to pray about it? You know, are you ready to get started? Are you in? And they well, no, we're still thinking about it. I'm not ready to pull the trigger just yet. Say, great. Well, do you have any questions for me? Any concerns that I can help address right now? And they're going, well, not off the top of my head. You know, if they're hesitant about it, say, great. Let me ask you a question then. Let's just say your prospect's name is Bob. Bob, on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10, you're ready to get started, which you already told me you're not, and 1, you just want to be a customer and enjoy the savings or the product, where would you rank yourself? That is an awesome question, and listen for their answer, okay? Now, if they're a 1, sign them up on your service or sell them your product. If they're a 10, for Pete's sake, don't go into a whole nother presentation. Just hit the join now button or whatever button you have in your organization, your company, and sign them up, okay? But if they're a 2 through a 9, what do you have to do to get them to 10? Ask them that. What do I need to do to get you to 10? Now, I've broken this down a little bit more here in the past, and if they're a 2 through a 5, I just simply get them to the next exposure. That's my mindset. And it's typically going to take 4 to 5 exposures before somebody can pull the trigger and make the decision to rock and roll. Okay? Now, if they're a 6 through a 9, I ask them 4 more questions. The first question is, based upon what you've seen, how much money would you have to make per month for this to be worth your while? And listen, okay? And most of the time, they're going to say $2,000 a month or less. And I'm talking residual money, okay? I'm not talking about upfront bonuses and things of this nature. I'm talking about solid money coming in every month, whether they get out of bed or not, okay? Residual income through your comp plan. And so most of the time they'll say $2,000 or less per month, okay? A lot of people don't understand the power of that question because they're so used to throwing up the numbers that the top earners in their company are making. Okay, and most people cannot fathom that kind of money. Most people cannot grasp making more than twice their current income. So keep that in mind. And whatever their answer is, it's a correct answer. That's another genius thing about that question, okay? So let's just say they said, you know, $2,000 a month would be worth my while, okay? Let me ask you another question. How many hours per week could you give me in order to make $2,000 a month residual income? and listen for their answer. Most of the time, they'll say 5 to 10 hours to make that kind of money. All right. Now, what's amazing about that is the person that says 5 to 10 hours is probably the same person that just told you as one of their objections or one of their concerns is they didn't have any extra time. Well, they just gave you 5 to 10 right there in that example because you asked a proper question. Okay. So let's just say they said 5 hours a week. Okay. So you asked the third question. How many months of working 5 hours a week to make $2,000 a month could you give me? And what I have found in my experience is they'll tell you as long as it takes. Now, some people might say 12 months, some might say 6 months, some might say 24 months, some might say 2 months. The key here is it's got to be realistic. If it's not realistic in your compensation plan, you've got to tell them we need to tweak one of these three numbers. But I also tell them, what are we competing against? In other words, let's just give an example. They want to make $2,000 a month. They're going to give you 5 hours a week for 2 months to do that. Well, that's not very realistic, okay? I mean, what are we competing against is what I would tell them or ask them. I said, we got to get this realistic. There's nothing out there that you can do with this low of acquisition cost, startup cost, for 5 hours a week, a total of 10 hours to where you're making $2,000 a month, whether you get out of bed or not. That's not realistic. So we got to tweak one of these three numbers, all right, and get it to where it is realistic. Once again, I'm not saying bonuses. There are businesses out there. The business I'm in, a person can go make several $1,000s in their first week or two, okay, but that's not sustainable. That's upfront one-time bonus. I'm talking a residual income. Okay, and so they'll typically say, okay, I see what you're saying. To make $2,000 a month, if I was to give you 5 hours a week, I could do it for 12 months. Is that realistic? And if it is, say yes. Okay, if it's not, tell them no. Need to tweak it again. All right, so now you've got those three questions answered. And now let's just say that they've given you a realistic answer. Now you ask the fourth question. Well, Bob, here's the deal. Let me ask you this final question. If, without a shadow of a doubt, based upon what you saw, if I was to help you and you were to get this started right now and you could make $2,000 a month doing it 5 hours a week for 12 months, are you ready to get started now? Yes or no? And wait for their answer. And if they hem-haw around about it, I take it away from them. Okay, and what I mean by that is I'll just tell them, you know what, Bob, it sounds like the timing's not right for you right now. And I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste mine. Why don't you just be a customer and try the service or the product and kick the tires a little bit, so to speak, and I'll follow up with you. I'll keep in touch with you on a regular basis, let you know what's happening with the company, where we're expanding, things of this nature. But I just don't have time to waste right now. Company's running a promotion, for example, and you've got other people to talk to, but I wanted to give you my undivided attention, because if you were ready to get going, I was ready to give you my undivided attention and focus on you and lock arm in arm with just you. But if you can't make a decision, I'm moving on. And I'll follow back up with you and keep in touch. And sometimes when you take it away from them, that will get them to pull the trigger faster than sitting around chasing them all the time. Now keep in mind, 4 to 5 exposures before they pull the trigger, but have posture. Those are some great questions that you can ask. Scale from 1 to 10, and based upon what their answer is, 2 through a 5, get them to the next exposure. 6 through a 9, ask the following 4 questions. How much money would you have to make per month for this to be worth your while? How many hours per week could you give me to make that kind of money? How many months could you give me working that number of hours per week to make that kind of money? And if I could show you how to do that and help you do that and took you by the hand and help you do that right now, are you ready to get started, yes or no? And I promise you, you'll get further along and you'll waste less time. Okay, I hope this has been helpful to you. Comment below. I would love to hear from you and hear your feedback. Let me know how it's working for you. I teach this all the time. It has been very beneficial to our organization. I know it will help you too. Share this with your team. Share this with your organization. Share it on all the social media outlets. And I look forward to helping you in the future build a bigger, better business, and we'll see you at the bank. Have a great, great day.